I just love that Britt stands him up. You could see, honestly, how angry he was, but he was trying to hold it back for the cameras.
And he was playing this game. What do you mean I was home by 11? What? I'm so confused by why you're attacking me, Brittany. You're being so mean to me.
I'm just a baby. I'm just a poor little baby. I'm just a poor little Jax who's just gotten out of rehab, and I just don't know any better. I'm just trying to be a better man. I'm just trying to see my son.
The way she burned him at the end. Have fun being drunk at a bar. 45. Click.
We gonna stir it up and do things our way. So if you wanna move, get out of our way.
Hey.
It's Valley time.
What time? Check your watch. It's 8:18.
Oh, there will never be a grander area code.
I agree. That's how people, when I call or text them, that's why they answer. They know this is coming from a very prestigious.
What is 310? 212? Absolutely not. No. It's
Back.
818.
There was a slight, very brief time in my life where I was almost ashamed of my 818 status. Isn't as like underage, but still chasing, like, the Paris Hilton life. And I had a burner phone with a 310. So like when I'd call at like 19 Mr. Chow for reservations, I wanted to give them a 310 number. I thought that would get a table. It worked, but they'll take any number. So that was a waste of $40 in 2005 or whatever.
Well, I grew up with an 817 area code.
Just one short of greatness.
Yep. Exactly. Ooh, wow. This was an interesting episode. Like, it wasn't a transitional episode. There was some drama, but it wasn't like the drama. If that makes sense.
What was teased ended up being what we were teased ended up being the very end of To Be Continued.
They really pulled a Housewives trope on that one. I was like, really, you guys, really? That actually isn't even happening until the next episode. I was like,
I don't want to spoil it. We'll save it for next week, but I already was prepared from the 3 seconds I saw that ends up being the teaser to try to figure out what substance Aaron might be on with his... We'll save that audience game for next week. You guys actually message us. What do you think he allegedly is on? All I'm saying is his pupils.
Put it in the comments, y'all. Put it in the comments. Actually, I should have looked it up before we got started. Shout out to the comments for last week, because you and I were debating on whether Benji's sign was deported, not departed, or departed, not deported. And we were both wrong because it was deported, not deported. And I want to give a shout out to the person who said that originally. Hold on. I have to find it. Sorry. Well, please. Because it was an early one. I should have done this before. And I thought about this last night. But I didn't even do it. Dag nabbit. Oh, ED 80s. That's who it was. That's our listener there on our viewer on YouTube. So.
Thank you, ED.
Yes.
I think I see what I want to see and I hear what I want to hear. So
that's called being a human. We all do it. But yeah. So leave in the comments this week, besides your opinions on A, the show, B, our show, C, what do you think Aaron is on? Why is Aaron so
yeah.
Why do his lids not touch his irises whatsoever?
Yeah. I mean, Just a suggestion. No.
Mhm,
But I guess we
mhm.
should dive into the episode.
Yes, let's do that.
What is there? I mean,
Well, they start off with, of course, because the next couple of episodes are really about at least the nice parts of the episode are about Luke and Kristen getting engaged.
mhm.
So at least like we can take comfort in your Mariposa finally getting, her MRS degree.
I want
So
yeah, dibs on being ring bearer, flower boy, whatever. Adorable.
you'll be the Kyle Cook of their wedding. You'll be the flower boy.
And then end up getting kicked out like Craig Conover.
Yeah. Instead of throwing flower petals, you'll throw menthol cigarettes. Oh, I made myself laugh. Anyway, but like when Luke and Kristen are having their lunch, that's being filmed at home, and like the pregnancy and the LA talk and everything like that, I was like, okay, but I do have to say though, I like their dynamic. My only caveat, and this is, I'm trying not to rain on their parade. It's just more me being my being true to my realistic, my optimistic, realistic. God damn it, Stacy, say it right. I'm a realistic optimist, is what I am. So I want to see the best in things, but I'm also very realistic about things. So, like, I like their dynamic, but I'm really hoping that the main thing bringing them together is not just about having a baby. You know what I mean? Because that's not really what a relationship should be built on. And I do think that they have other things in common. So we are just seeing slices of their lives, of all of these, cast members, but so much has been focused on having a baby. That's not enough to build a full-on marriage on. So I just hope that because they are so different. That's why I say that.
From my friends in life who remind me of her, I've seen people like her go on to marry guys like him, and they last. What it is in my head is the way one of my friends, who might listen, I don't know, she said she was a wild child. She married like a very quiet, quiet, normal guy. She said, "I'm the gas, he's the brake, and you need that in a relationship." So he kind of centers her, but I don't know.
No.
He has grown into. I'm not suspicious of him, but this season he's really grown into TV. It's like normal.
Yes. Yeah.
So
yeah. And I think it's like, I mean, look, we all made our snap decisions about him last season, and we all do that. That is part of human nature. And truly only time will tell. Only time will tell with any of these people. So in any of these situations.
Last season, I was like calling him a serial killer. And this season, I'm ready to give him our Mariposa's hand in marriage for the
Oh man. Well, but then they get FaceTimed by Nia and Danny and Benji and Zach while they're having their brunch, about the whole Hawaii thing. Sorry, I get distracted by food because this episode they were eating actually at two of my favorite places to eat in the Valley. Hugo's. I fucking love Hugo's. Hugo's is one of my favorite. Now they also have a Hugo's on this side of the hill in like on Santa Monica Boulevard in West Hollywood, and that is great. But when I lived in the Valley, I was always at Hugo's a lot of the time for brunch. The second place, which we'll get to later, but when Jax gets stood up, is Jumpin' Java, which is my absolute favorite place for like brunch. I mean, they don't serve alcohol really, but like they've got some of the best freaking food. I'm dead serious. It's on Ventura Boulevard in Studio City. It's so freaking yummy. I love Jumpin' Java. If you're in LA, go to Jumpin' Java. It's worth it. Absolutely worth it. Everything is good. Nothing is bad. And they got thick bacon. If you eat pork, if you like bacon, their bacon is the bomb. The bomb. Anyway, that's it. Go ahead. Sorry.
First of all, I think we should kind of tag this Jumpin' Java now that we basically Send over that bacon for freezies.
Send me some bacon. Their breakfast burrito. Oh my god, the burrito. It's their salsa. Oh, I could go on and on about like everything on that menu.
We could.
So good.
If
Hugo's too. Hugo's too.
If we score them as a sponsor, we could finally say this podcast is bringing home the bacon. So
hear that, Jumpin' Java? Hear that?
Oh, did you catch something? This is where on the FaceTime, Nia is saying to Kristen, "You look so pretty. Are you getting Botox without me?" And first I was like, oh, she's just saying like the lighting's good. But then I looked behind Kristen and they have that, they call it millennial gray, that like what's now the standard modern, everything is gray and white and those like
behind
quick...
you.
Yeah. Yeah. Except this is just lazy white. There's no colors. There's no HGTV color scheme. It's just, but yeah. It was gray walls, and I was like, oh, is she saying Kristen's new house is sterile? Because I could see it once. Yeah.
Okay, they also just moved in there anyway.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I agree. It did look like she was like at a doctor's office, like in the corner getting.
Yeah, because from behind her there were cabinets, but everything's gray. I could see it. So it's
It was funny how Zach figured it out. Zach figured it out that Luke is going to propose, and then that Zach is the one who has to invite Janet and Jason to Kristen's vacation. Like the way he explained it, and the way he was like, "I think we've given Alanis Morissette some new lyrics." I was like,
"Yeah."
Every episode, I love Zach more and more. I want him to be my friend.
He's like the breakout. He is like the breakout. He's everything Janet thought she would be.
Thank you. Then that pisses her off even more. Because also, like, last season, him and Jasmine were technically like friends of. And now this season, they are full cast members. And Zach is bringing it.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
This scene coming up, my God, the men's group.
I think that makes you more uncomfortable than talking about sex.
Yeah, that men's group would make me like, what do the youth say on TikTok? It would make me like unalive, set myself on fire. That was so uncomfortable. You know what it reminded me of too? These characters aside on the show though, it reminded me of Married to Medicine. They have those like couples retreats and like the husbands talk. I was like, this is and those make me uncomfortable too. I was like, your support group is called a bottle of whatever your favorite drink is, guys.
You're such a man.
When it comes to that situation, I was like, I would be like what's his name? Scott, the life coach. I would be like, could you please keep like as he's like holding your chest while you tell him your feelings, I'd be like, could you please keep like a 15 cigarette distance between us?
I just felt like it was so much like it was giving those Luis Ruelas, however you pronounce his name, vibes from his like man's retreat type of thing. Like that is those vibes. Like, look, and him and Jax Taylor pretty much have the same skin tone by now. It's all that like reddish like complexion of narcissistic man injuries. Like they're like, oh my God. But also it was like, you guys, this isn't like, first of all, you're just talking at each other. You're not having like a real conversation. It's just, I feel that you did this to me. You're not really actually talking about like things that are going on in your lives, except for Jax Taylor, who's just, emotionally vomiting all over everybody. But he just does that all the time anyway.
When Jax was talking about finally like letting his inner child, his little boy, I think he said his like inner little boy out. I was like, what have you been showing us the past like 12 years? Was that a mature? You are a little boy. They're trying to get you to grow.
All you've been this entire time is a 6'2" toddler. That is what you are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I'm even being nice calling him 6'2". It might be like 6'1",
Mm-hmm.
6 feet. I don't know. Whatever. He's a grown toddler, and that's what he is. But also, like, okay, I have several issues with this, and I have a list. I have a list just like they have lists, because this is what I did find out. I was like, Scott's like, men have these lists. I go, yeah, you have these lists, because women have to give you lists in order for you to get anything done. I was like, that's why this works out for you, because give a man a list and he'll check things off of it. But you can't make him really think for himself. I'm sorry.
We like a mission.
You like a mission.
I like a task.
But first of all, fucking Jesse, because let me just get into Jesse real quick. Him taking that laundry out and like be putting it away, as people are coming over. I was like, that's just so coded. It's so like, I'm a girl dad vibes. It's so like, look at me. I'm a real guy. Like I'm a careful feminist, whatever. Like I'm a caretaker type of man. It was very coded. It's trying to tell you something without saying anything. And it's an act. I was like, I see through this. This is a freaking act, dude. You didn't have to do this right now. Like in fact, most people would do that before cameras started. Like that would have been done, or you would have just left it there. No, you did that on purpose. And I'm like, that's like, I mean, I'm not against men's groups or anything like that, and men getting together and talking. And I think it's actually can be very good and thoughtful. But I don't think this Scott guy, A, is the right guy to do it. And B, just Jax with this fucking dad life hat.
I didn't catch that.
He's either wearing Jax's Studio City branded merch, or he's wearing this dad life stuff, whether it's a dad life sweatshirt or a dad life hat. And I'm like, is dad life another brand of his too that he's trying to make a thing? Because excuse me, no, you're not a good dad. At
this point, we don't know if he's seen his son yet. Right. Exactly.
Because, but Jordan, that would all be Brittany's fault.
Yeah.
Because she can't fit it in between his, Botox and his drinking and his man clubs and his dinners at the smokehouse. Did you see him at the smokehouse when you were at your father's birthday?
I was there. You guys can see. And I was glad we had a booth. Instead of that, I would feel like really gross for my father if we were at that. They were in a table. I always look at seating. I look at seating where people are seated and what they're drinking and eating. No, we didn't have that, because if we sat there for my dad's birthday this past weekend, the whole time I would be thinking about like Jax and the show. We're at a better table, but yeah. Oh my God. Queens of Bravo pointed that out on my IG. They were like, that's Jax's. I was like, I try not to mix my family with the sordid world that I cover,
but they started a show titled The Valleys. It was going to happen.
Yeah.
It was going to happen. I couldn't list really anything Jax said. I really just tuned it out. So I don't really give a shit what he said.
Jason made me want to like. Do you have him on your list?
Yes, I do. That was the next thing I was going to say. That's why I was like, you're like reading my mind. What I wrote was, I said, I hope Jason can take his words about Danny's apology and turn them towards Jax. Because he was like, I hope that Danny really means this, but I don't know if I can. And I was like, you know what, dude? Because honestly, what Danny was saying to Jason, to me, seemed the most heartfelt, or seemed the most like taking accountability. No, it could just be words, and it does take time. But I just also feel like Jason just doesn't. He's like on this mission to like to suck up to Jax. To him and Janet are on this mission that Jax is the main character to suck up to, and everybody else, like we've heard before, the whole Jax's whole thing was we're going to take down Danny and Nia. They're too perfect. I got to look better somehow. We got to make this guy look better, because also, again, another kind of intervention happened with Danny, and Scotty was like, well, what are you doing? Are you, and he gives a scenario, you going up and like ordering more drinks like sneakily and da, da, da. And you could see Danny being like, well, like, not like, I'm not going to say that. No, that's not what it is. It's like, you don't ask a leading, that would be what a lawyer would say is a leading question.
Yeah. Like a deposition.
Yeah, and that's also not what a real therapist would do. So again, this guy's not a therapist.
Yeah, I like. Yeah, when they were asking Danny those questions, it's all been built to force this narrative that he's an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I would like my jaw dropped when Jason was explaining in his confessional that he can't fully accept Danny's apology yet because they're just words, and he needs to see change. And his best friend sitting 2 feet away is Jax Taylor, fresh out of rehab, who we now know still getting drunk. As this is filming, I don't mean now, probably now too, but in that moment, hasn't seen his kid, everything. He's the king. There are now national articles, besides our podcast, written about how Jax doesn't change or do anything authentically. But Jason's being very stern with Danny. Danny's the one who needs the talking to and can't be trusted.
I'm going to say this. I made a TikTok a while ago, and I didn't put it out because I was like, now I work in reality television. I don't talk about any of the shows that I work on. I don't. So, but does this not have shades of the last season of Vanderpump Rules? Producer Jeremiah Smith just fucking tanked that show with trying to give Sandoval a redemption arc and trying to force Ariana into this spot. And guess who the showrunner is this season of The Valley? Jeremiah Smith.
Oh, so
they're very much shades of this misogyny, of this giving these terrible men. They're coming. I mean, look, and Jax Taylor makes Sandoval look like a fucking angel, you know, comparatively, but. He also was they brought him over to Southern Charm this past season, which again, there were similar things. And that's a whole other mess of a boys club over there. But I also believe that there's a lot of hiding, like, of what Craig Conover does. All of those guys are just given a whitewash treatment. And it's always the women or other people's faults. You know what I mean? And so there's just this flavor, in my opinion, of everything that he touches. And I know that I'm not the only one who feels this way.
Also, on the producer is obviously the same. It's Alex Baskin as well. Both. So I'm saying, so now you have Alex and Jeremiah as a team from Vanderpump Rules steering the Valley as well. So, yeah.
And I just, it makes me very uncomfortable, because also I will defend production a lot of the time too, because I do work, because I also know that there are things behind the scenes, but there just seems to be a pattern here that with these terrible men getting just be given a pass, given too much of a chance to have this redemption arc of like having this whole like, let's not worry about how bad this person is. Let's try to make a bigger deal out of this like molehill. Let's make a mountain out of this molehill, and let's not look at, you know, Mount Everest over here.
Yeah.
I'm not about that. No. Please stop treating the audience like they're stupid, because we're not.
Jax has probably been Alex's moneymaker for a long time. And so I that's the only thing I can think of why he would protect him so much. Because other than that, well, he wasn't his moneymaker for a long time.
No.
They did kick him off the
They
show.
did. They did.
I forget
That's
about
the
that
thing.
little. I forget about his absence.
Alex, this is the thing, is that I give Alex a little bit more leeway because he's running several shows, including OC and Beverly Hills.
Mhm.
So he's running those shows too, and always has to like some more stuff in the pot. And like a lot of times people are like, "Oh, Andy," I'm like, Andy doesn't have as much power as you guys like want to say that he does. So
Mhm.
he's like a titular head in that sense, but. And also the best seasons of Vanderpump were the seasons that Jax was not on. Like the most like it finally gets nominated for they were the Scandival seasons. And that's when they got nominated for like an Emmy and shit. You know what I mean? So they don't need Jax Taylor. They don't need Jax Taylor.
Yeah.
I think there's enough.
I mean, at this point, we know the reunion's been filmed.
Mm-hmm.
And based on what I see of Jax, there won't be a big surprise. There won't be a revelation. Said it last episode. Said it this one. I think this season is his swan song.
Mm-hmm.
He's the Vicky, is the Ramona. Like, it's just not going to change. You can talk to him 10,000 times. There's just not going to.
I hope so. Look, I enjoyed Janet as a villain on this show. Keep freaking Janet. Keep Janet. Let's do that. Keep Jesse, even though I do think that he is emotionally abusive to
I
Michelle.
like Jesse more and more again.
He's more entertaining. Like,
yeah. And what I was gonna say,
Jax is a powder keg, like waiting to go off.
Yeah, and it's like we've seen it all. At least we see Jesse. We barely know we're on season 2 of Jesse, and he is trying to change and stuff. There are more facets to him. Jax is a one-note character at this point,
right?
That's what. So it's like
we almost say it every episode that Jax is. Well, I do. Jax is dumb and Jesse is smart. So therefore, it makes Jesse more interesting to watch. At least Jesse's manipulation is more interesting. Janet's manipulation is more interesting. Speaking of which, let's move on to El Coyote.
Yeah. Do you guys, by the way, do you guys know what El Coyote is? If you are familiar with the Manson murders. Rest in peace, Sharon Tate. That is the restaurant they had before they went home to Cielo Drive. So that's in LA lore. That is El Coyote. It's been around forever, but it was Sharon Tate's and the victim's final meal. So
yeah. And in Janet's not exactly defense, but their margaritas are killer. I will say that. They will take you out very quickly. Their food is meh. It's no Hugo's or Jumpin' Java. It's no Casa Vega. But their margaritas will definitely damn. And that was a horrible table for filming. I'm sorry. Right by the kitchen. Oh, that was terrible.
I do want to say this is scene why I just defended Jesse. I hate Michelle's cadence of speaking. It's awful. It is so slow and drawn out. And I have like a vocal fry valley, but this is it was as, they're getting into it and Michelle's accusing Kristen of being the one to spread. And it took 5 minutes for her to get out 2 sentences. Kristen, why did Jesse I won't finish it. It will take the rest of the episode. I hate the way she speaks. And it irritated me so much. It was like, high five, Jesse. I would leave too.
And this is an episode that I'm not going to defend Michelle about, because I was like, Michelle, I know you've been around Jesse so much that it's very hard to get out of your head, but everything is not about you. Like not everybody is out to get you. Jesse is out to get you, yes, but Kristen is not necessarily out to get you. Like, and the whole like Jenna thing, like, girl, you live in LA, you're with this friend group, and I'm sorry, like it's it's you've been lied to by, I'm guessing Janet told you that Kristen told Jesse about Jenna or whatever, but it was actually Zach. So, that was a lie right there. It was actually Zach. Zach admits it. He's like, I'm the one who told her.
He was pointing at himself.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, I just was like, it's not about you. Like, stop trying to think that everybody's coming after you. Also, like, she's like, I don't do exes. I was like, girl, then you should have become a nun, because everybody's got an ex. And the fact of the matter is that you're asking Aaron, your current boyfriend, to deal with your ex for the rest of your guys' lives or relationship, as long as that lasts. But you can't deal with a girl that he slept with 15 years ago. Just come the fuck on. Come on, grow up.
Coming again from a producer's perspective, I feel like with that whole thing, like you said, the way Michelle tries to circle it back to her, is that I could see Jesse continuing on the show without Michelle. I can't see Michelle having a place on the show without Jesse. She doesn't really have a story. And I think for entertainment, but Michelle offers zero entertainment value to me. That's it. You could get her to crack a smile. That's about it. And so, yeah, I don't know, her when she was accusing Kristen, maybe it was also my bias to my Mariposa, but it was also the way she spoke. It was like if you took Kourtney Kardashian's voice and did it at half speed. That's how slow and vocal fried Kristen. Wow. I hated it.
Yeah. It was just like,
and and I caught something here as well. Again, because I've been saying Janet, obviously, she studied to be a villain. She interned for Sheena essentially to make it into the group and make it onto the show. And you know what she quoted, which once again tells me she's been studying? She called Kristen a sniper from the side. Anybody remember that?
Erica Jane talking about Lisa Vanderpump.
Didn't we say last week Janet thinks she's on Housewives? The way she conducts her takedowns in her drama, it's very Fox Force. And she did something else. She jumped to another member of the Fox Force in this, as she's yelling at Kristen about accountability. And she's repeating it in the tone of own it. Own it. She was just going straight down the list. Rinna, Erica, it's like
Teddy,
the whole thing. I was just like, it's like you can't reveal how much you've studied and prepped for this. Like, make it your own.
Yeah, that's why it's fun to kind of watch her be a bad villain, because you're kind of clumsy about this stuff, but because also she was almost pulling a drunk Danny. She was so drunk and she wasn't sloppy drunk. She was like angry drunk. And I was like, you're an angry drunk, like almost like Jax. Like, stop being so angry. Stop being so and look, the El Coyote margaritas, they're killer. You had a baby a few months ago. Your body's not exactly the same, in handling alcohol. Absolutely. I'm giving you a break, Janet, but you're still being a dick. So that means that you're a dick when you're drunk. Yeah. I'm like, nah, absolutely not. And when she when Nia told her to fuck off, I was like, yes, Nia. Yes. Thank you. So I'm enjoying Nia more and more this season too. Nia's really growing on me. I will admit, I thought she was kind of boring and just going to be too much nice pageant. And I'm really glad that she's coming out of her shell. And maybe I have to thank Janet for that, which I don't like, but
not Janet. I'm sorry. Danny and Nia now have a $1.3 million house to pay for.
True.
She's going to earn that. She's going to keep those checks flowing.
I think the irony is, but we've learned this on Housewives, and so I cannot believe that Janet did not learn this before, that if you try to go in there with a plan to take somebody down, it does not work. In fact, it backfires on you, and it can make that person more popular. Actually, the perfect example, going back to Jeremiah Smith, going back to Vanderpump Rules, is them trying to take down Ariana. Lala Kent trying to take down Ariana looked so bad. The audience hated it. Nobody liked it at all. And then you have Ariana literally blowing up and becoming America's sweetheart. And the girl has got the most amazing career now. The career that basically she kind of always wanted. You know, being on Broadway, hosting one of the most popular television shows in America right now. Like, thank you, Lala Kent. Thank you, Jeremiah Smith, for your bad plan backfiring on you.
And Lala now is auditioning with cameos in the background of the Valley.
Yep.
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 She's one I don't want back on camera. Sheena, I don't. Sheena, I don't mind, because I feel like from what I've seen of her on this show, it's fairly innocent. Her kind of toxicity, she's just excited to have friends and run and tell them things. Lala came in guns blazing. Jesse's, I mean, this was even before the Valley. It was also towards any man who crosses her is a stand-in for Randall. And she does that with everyone. Her Father's Day post was kind of weird. There was a lot of buzz about that, leaving out Ocean, because he's the daughter of, on Father's Day. She did a post, shout out to, she left out Ocean because Ocean is Randall's child. She doesn't want to acknowledge him.
So she basically did a shout out to her sperm donor for baby number 2.
To herself and to the donor and to all the father figures in people's lives. I think her brother, who doesn't have a kid yet, but she said hopefully. She didn't have to thank Randall, but she could have at least acknowledged this other child. It's weird. It is weird.
I'll have to look at that, because I didn't even hear about that.
But anytime Lala pops up again, we see her more in the after show than we do on the show.
I thought she would be in the show more because of how much I've seen her in the after show. But
so what I'm saying is Lala is kind of like Jax. No, I don't mean it's. What I mean is, one note. I don't think we're gonna break. I don't think we're gonna break Lala. It's gonna be the same Lala forever. So.
Yeah, I agree. What is it? Hold on. What is my note here? Field day. First I wrote soccer day because I saw a soccer field, and then I was like,
field day. Is that, I understood what it is, and I know the activities, but is field day like a term for, I've heard it in movies and shows. Like I put game day. I wonder if field day is a regional term.
You never had like a field day at school, like elementary school or anything like that?
It's just, I'm asking if it's a regional term. It was never called like field day. I don't know.
It was called field day in Texas. Like growing up, we had field day. It was, I mean, we had it more in elementary school, but it was a day, like basically you didn't have class, but you had to do these field contests or whatever, and so I was surprised. My first thought was I knew what it was. It's just I don't know what we called it, but it wasn't field day. But I was like, oh, is that a Midwest term? Because it was like, this sounds like some awful activity that Janet would force everyone to do, like Dave and Buster's. But ironically, she didn't want it. She didn't like it. I was kind of with her. I was like, I don't like field day.
That's why I was surprised. Is it was like this kind of activity is Janet written all over. She's gonna make herself the captain, the referee.
I think this is where Janet and I, the little bit of our Venn diagram like overlap in that I don't like field day. Like I do like to exercise. Like I like to exercise, but I like to exercise indoors. Like I'm built for indoor use only. Yeah. So, I taught spin. I like weightlifting. I like doing all that yoga, all that type of stuff. just keep me out of the sun. I don't want to be in the sun. I don't want to be
Yeah.
baking and everything. Like I'll go for a walk in my neighborhood. That's fine, whatever. But like, yeah, field day stuff, absolutely freaking not. So like, I'm not going to go to Dave and Buster's, but that's an indoor activity I would rather do than a field day. Like I'd rather go to Dave and Buster's than
Yeah.
field day.
Just like for me, just like with the men's group, the therapy group, just like with Dave and Buster, I don't like organized activities like that, structured activities.
You don't like activities where things like when balls fly at your face.
I'm not Amber from
Ambular.
yeah. No, I just don't like I would get so bored. I couldn't fake enthusiasm with field day. They'd be like, throw a ball to me, and they'd be like, where is he? And I see some smoke coming from a bush across the field. Like, I just bail out. I don't.
I went to girls summer camp for a month, and you're like split into like, you know, 2 teams, like color guard or whatever like that. And you like over the course of like the month, you have like games like every other night and stuff like that. And you had to cheer. And like, I was not about this. Like, and like you would be watching like whatever the older girls played softball or something, and you're like, you have to cheer, you have to have that spirit, and da da. And like basically you get in trouble if you weren't cheering. And I was like, God, this is not.
Yeah.
No, like I'm I'm not that person.
In growing up, I played AYSO, like soccer, and I was always volunteering to have you get a quarter. Like there's always a group of kids who there are 4 quarters, so they need to pull some kids. I always wanted to be one of the benched kids, and I wanted to know what the snacks were.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't like.
Surprising.
Yeah. I don't like schwitzing and schlepping.
No team activities. No.
Well,
well, Jenna was there because Jasmine asked her to be a referee before she knew it was a big problem, which I was like, girl, I love it.
I think this is where Janet miscalculated. I think Janet thought that Jasmine was going to be her ride or die. She was standing up for Jasmine this season. This whole conflict with Danny and Nia is something that happened to Jasmine. It did not happen to Janet. And Jasmine looks sick of Janet bringing it up. She's over it. She's cool with Danny and Nia.
I have so many like notes about it. We almost don't have enough time for everything, but like I wrote that Janet needs to shut up about Danny and Nia and Kristen and Luke. She just needs to shut up about it. Like it's getting old and getting tired. But also like, so Janet's like blaming Nia for what Kristen said. I was like, oh, that makes like so much sense. Oh, but now also, so now you agree that it was Kristen who made the ring comment, not Jasmine, because before it was all Jasmine's fault about the ring comment, but now we're bringing it back around to Kristen again, you know. And you even have Jasmine at the like in her confessional saying, I really miss the old Janet. Like, where's that Janet? Like, where did she go? And I'm like, she got on TV, Jasmine. That's what happened.
Yeah.
She became a main cast member on The Valley.
Yeah. It's getting very Rinna. I don't know who I said earlier. I think maybe a few episodes we were speculating. I thought she had studied Stassi. She wanted to be the Stassi of the group. And now that I'm seeing her through the lens of all these housewife slip-ups she's doing, she's trying, first of all, maybe she thinks she's a Kyle, but she's trying to be a Rinna, but she's on the wrong show, just complete, like, it's falling flat. Own it.
Dude, she's gonna
accountable.
be a Dana Wilkie before we know it.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, though, is like at least Rinna made it like how many seasons, you know?
Yeah.
And like there's still days I miss Rinna still. So I'm not gonna lie, she's never coming back, but I still miss Rinna. I just wish she would unblock us. So.
Wonder what I could have done or said or befriended or I don't know, but she doesn't. Yeah.
I can follow her on TikTok though, so. Anyway.
What else is there?
Luke picks up the ring from Kyle. Jason
This
and Janet are packing.
the only funny thing I have to say about Luke going to Kyle Chan was I was so glad he said it out loud, because he was like, I'm bringing the gecko because she knows we're leaving, and so if I bring the gecko to him, I was like in my head, why does he need this? I was like, oh, does she have location on him? And then he goes, she just checked my location. I was like, Detective Doute. He's comfortable with that, though. Look, that's something he's accepting of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, well, let's go back to our future local sponsor, Jumpin' Java.
Oh, Jax.
Jax. I just love that Britt stands him up. It is just, you could see honestly how angry he was, but he was trying to hold it back for the camera.
Yes. And he was playing this game, not a game, but it's, I know bad behavior and I know cover-ups. And he's like, what? What do you mean? I was home by 11. What?
That fucking lie.
I'm so confused by why you're attacking me, Brittany. You're being so mean to me. Yeah.
I'm just a baby.
Yeah.
I'm just a poor little baby. I'm just a poor little Jax who's just gotten out of rehab, and I just don't know any better. I'm just trying to be a better man. I'm just trying to see my son.
Yeah.
But not call you about it. I love that she humiliated him just once out of like literally, I'm sure hundreds of times, if not thousands of times in the last 10 years that he's done it. One of which, to be honest with you, I thought of, because he's not going on the Hawaii trip, was 10 years ago when they first got together. When in Hawaii, he stole those sunglasses.
Yeah.
And was charged with felony theft. It's like, that was humiliating for her. And everybody was humiliated, but they really felt bad for her because she had just started seeing him. She had just moved in with him. And then he gets fucking arrested for stealing something.
Wasn't it a gift for her? It was sunglasses.
He said it was a gift for her, but it's bullshit. To be honest with you, he's stolen for him. It's a narcissistic thing to do. It's a psychopathic thing. Yeah, it's a thrill of like, let me see if I can steal this. Like, just like his hypersexualization, just like him like sleeping with women in their bed, like, and leaving underwear there. Like, it's a thrill for him to like push these buttons with people and with places, with things. So, but I did wonder, I was like, I wonder if he's allowed to go back to the state of Hawaii. And I was like, well, it's not like a separate country. You know what I mean? I was like, and he did. So I looked up his plea deal, and I think he's allowed like to go back there. But I was like, I wonder if production was like, you know what? We don't want to chance it with you.
Yeah. Maybe I was trying to figure out, because he wouldn't willingly, when he said, I don't feel up to, or I'm not ready to go to Hawaii. We know that's a lie. He'll go. Yeah. He was like trying to break out of rehab because he wants the per diem or whatever, the filming. He needs to fulfill his contract for the money that he needs. And then I thought maybe this could have been production's one chance at being responsible with him, because he just got out, and to send him on the drinking cast trip, because that is something. The one thing, I don't know if Alex Baskin ran Beverly Hills at the time, because he worked his way up when the show started. But I know there was a point with Kim Richards where they finally had to start being sensitive to her needs post-rehab and being like, you don't need to go to this dinner. Or, they kind of came up with creative ways to film her separately. And that's my only thinking, but I don't know. We just know Jax did not say, this isn't right for me. He was probably so mad he wasn't going.
And I'm sure he is rage texting her the entire time. Yeah.
The way she burned him at the end. Oh my God. Okay, first of all, I want to say, when they do that, when he's picking up his phone and they give a shot from the back, this is petty, whatever. It's not like I've done much better. Did you see his slicked over bald spot? He's playing come over in the back.
Well, didn't he do a whole thing, like one of his sponsored things was hair restoration or something like that early on when he got fired from Vanderpump Rules and was doing a whole hair thing. So yeah.
I caught that. And then, but her sign off to him, have fun being drunk at a bar, 45, click.
Well, and then and then he tries to act like the bigger person.
He's like, what? I don't know. I'm just so I just love that she got that immature dig in. She was pissed. That was personal. That did not. We have pretty good radars here for the staged and she was angry. That felt, that's how you know it was real and he was lying. Besides,
it's like don't pull this bullshit the night before and then think that you're going to film with me and try to make me look like the bad guy who's like keeping your son from you when you're out partying till God knows when and fucking whoever is around you when you could have been with your son if you really wanted to be. Like, don't you dare do this to me on camera. Like,
and then she was supposed to bring Cruz with her to this. That
was confusing. I wasn't sure. The first time I watched it, I thought so. And then the second time I watched it, I was like, I don't think so. I felt like it was a talking about what to do with Cruz and everything like that. But again, I feel like that was kind of his word salad. That most likely, no, that Cruz was not supposed to be there, but he's trying to make it seem like she was supposed to bring Cruz so he can make her seem like even worse.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't think, especially given his kind of like special needs and stuff, I think she would have picked a more kid-friendly place for that.
Exactly.
With a play place or a activity for him.
Yeah, or with like a booth that she can kind of control him a little bit more. And Jumpa Jabba doesn't really have booths like that or anything. So
yeah, coffee shop wouldn't be. Yeah, but yeah, no, that's what he wanted, and he's gonna spin it whether she was gonna bring him or not. He's going to say, "Look, she's holding me. She's taking my kid from me." And whatever. 45. The way she said it, it was that perfect. Yeah.
45.
There's just like one middle finger as you're turning away. It's just like, bye, slam the door. Then Hawaii. Aloha.
I love that, like, Zach and Jesse. I don't understand, though, exactly how Zach and Benji and Jesse get upgraded to the same suite together, or unless, like, they were originally all three supposed to be in a suite together and then got upgraded to a different. I don't quite get it. But I do think it's funny that then Luke is like, why didn't they give us the suite since they know what's going on? I go, exactly, Luke. Because exactly. And Zach is right. If he gave it to you, then she would know what was happening.
Right. They were that makes me in a way think Luke, the way he said it, is almost pure of heart still, because as a schemer who's obsessed with upgrades and accommodations, but just a schemer in general, I would have been like, yeah, that'd be so. Kristen is a schemer. Everyone except Luke. Kristen would have been like, this is weird. What's happening? She'd be immediately, they'd open the door and she'd be looking for rose petals. She would know as soon as the elevator landed in the hallway. Exactly. They were watching out for him.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Oh my God. Sorry, real quick, going back to El Coyote, how Jasmine, all this, and she almost was fucking ruining it by being like, Zach says there's something secret planned. And he's like, shut the fuck up, Jasmine. I'm sure Jasmine is watching this now going, oh my God, I can't believe I almost ruined it all. But you don't know what you don't know. And then Aaron is on this trip. I'm sorry. I just want to get to like when they're in the pool. When they're in the pool and Danny and Jason have their conversation, which I thought was good because like I want Danny and Jason to be friends. I do. I think Jason is just being manipulated by his harpy of a wife, which I don't like. I don't like giving into those misogynistic tropes, but I just think that Janet is like that. Anyway, but then they call over Nia and Janet over to talk. And then Janet's being very conciliatory. But this, oh my gosh, I howled both times. And the second time I knew it was coming. But when Janet says, first, I'd like to apologize. I had too much to drink. And Nia immediately says, that early in the night, my queen Nia, you just like, boom. I mean, I howled with laughter. I was like, this is it, Janet. This is why I like Nia, because she's real. She's not perfect. It's one of those things. She has that veneer of perfection, that like pageanty Christian thing. Absolutely. And that's something that like kind of, turned me off in the beginning, but I get it now. The more we learn about her story, about being homeless and, everything that she had to put up with. So it's like one of those things of like, don't sleep on Nia. This girl has street smarts. This girl also, to be a pageant girl, those chicks are mean. Those chicks can be very, very mean. So like, she's also like this Latina queen. Like she's got it.
Who, by the way, like, I mean, she had a rough upbringing. She's a survivor. She's strong. Yeah. She chooses this veneer of, she's very delicate and polite and soft. She had to survive to get to that point. So Janet, you only child in the master bedroom with your Dave and Buster's gift cards. Nia had to like fight.
You're
for
there.
Crumbs.
You're like, Janet, you're in your parents' master bedroom watching cable television while Nia's living in a car with her family surviving. Shut the fuck up.
Wait, were you going for Alex McCord there?
Yes, I was.
Okay, yeah.
I just hadn't prepared it very well, so it was like...
Well, you are in your parents' master bedroom being a mean girl. I am in this Ford Escort trying to survive.
Exactly. That is it. That is it. And look, this is all love towards Nia. We're not making fun of Nia because this is just like, I just was like, boom, exactly. And I think that's also like, we've seen flashes of it, but before it was coming out at Danny, it was her saying like, you don't cuss at me, Daniel, when she calls him Daniel, she's like, you don't cuss at me, Daniel, you don't do this. And that's her like putting her foot down. And so that has made me kind of rethink a few of my opinions when it comes to the talking about his drinking and stuff. Is that she is having, I think that probably she is having those hard conversations with him off camera, behind closed doors, because she's like, I'm not going to put up with this in our marriage. I'm not going to put up with this. So I think we're starting to see those flashes of it. Not that she needs to put it all out there all the time, and that's necessarily who she is, but I'm starting to see, I think we're getting past the first chapter of Nia. We're starting to get into chapter 2 of Nia, who Nia is. So
something that just clicked with me. She was Miss USA, and who else was Kenya Moore.
Kenya Moore.
So don't be fooled by the tiaras that they got. Like
they're still.
Wait. Wait, I hope Nia doesn't get fired after she brings out pictures of Janet. I'm joking. Janet in a porn or whatever, Britt and Kenya. JK, LOL. Nia would never.
That's a whole other thing. Apparently they weren't even pictures of Britt. That's the whole thing. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. Anyway, I still have mixed feelings about Kenya, but I miss her. Anyway.
So this episode, I mean, the way it ends, it's about Jesse and Aaron, but it's really a build up in the next episode.
Yeah.
Right. It's a transition. We know what's coming. The sit down.
Jesse's just so self-righteous about Aaron. Like and I wonder if some ways he's upset that Aaron is on television and his girlfriend is not. His girlfriend didn't want to be on the show. So it's like, well, Michelle has backup because she has her boyfriend here. Yeah. And I don't have my girlfriend here to like back me up. So I have to like fight this battle, whatever. But I'm also I really dislike the fact that like I think it was big of Michelle to admit that she cheated on Jesse to him. You know, I'm not saying that he needs to get over it or anything like that, but if he really wants to move on for his child's sake, you have to stop bringing it up all the time. You have to stop trying to figure everything out.
I think
and you have to stop doing it on camera too.
Well, I think the issue with Aaron is this is the guy he thinks it was, and they're just not admitting it. Because, like, I know not my friends, but friends' parents and stuff. Eventually, like, the parents divorced, there was cheating, and they even go on to marry the mistress. And eventually, it just wasn't meant to be, and they become a decent, cordial family. He wants that answer from Aaron or Michelle, really, but he's not going to stop till they admit it.
This is the thing, though. He'll find any excuse. He'll find any excuse. And this is coming from a child of divorce where one parent cheated on the other and then married the mistress. And they're still married. But then the other parent is still angry about it 30 years later. Like, that's the thing. You have to make a decision. You have to make a decision. Like, so Jesse has to make a decision whether he wants to let it go or not, because it really does him no good. And it could be Aaron. Also, to be honest with you, it doesn't matter what Aaron says. If Aaron admits it, then Jesse can hold that self-righteously against him the rest of the time. But if Aaron says, no, it wasn't me, Jesse may just be like, well, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
It's a no-win situation. It's a no-win situation. So that's why Jesse has to decide what he wants to do.
I still think, like, next episode is going to be the sit down where he tries to get it out of Aaron. I want to see what Aaron says.
I'm interested too. I'm interested to see how much
also,
bigger Aaron's eyes can get.
Yeah, and I was going to say also too, I think you're looking for resolution between Michelle and Jesse, or not looking for it. We're steering in different. I'm not looking for peace between them. I'm like, give us the breakup I can stand on this season.
Well, no, I'm not looking for resolution. He's saying that he's looking for resolution.
Yeah.
I'm saying you're not going to get it the way that you keep saying you are. You're lying to yourself and or the audience by saying that this is going to do it, because it's not. Personally, I think he's lying. I think he's just going to be angry no matter what. So
do you think I do, based on, we don't know the full timeline. We only know Jesse's side. Well, let's save it for next week. Let's save it. Yeah. It's gonna be like,
let's save it for next week. But hey, people in the comments on YouTube, you can like leave us messages like, what do you think?
Yeah.
You know, what do you think? Do you think Aaron was the one, or do you think it wasn't? I don't know. I don't really care, to be honest with you.
I want to know too. I also need to find out one last thing, what Aaron really does, because he has a house near Runyon Canyon, right? That's not cheap.
Yeah.
It's not honey from a farmer's market buying it.
I'm sure he's probably like
a trust,
something like that.
Trustafarian with his organic hiking honey, and his father who's in like private equity, but they won't talk about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know what would help us build some equity over here at PCP? It doesn't cost anything. All you have to do is subscribe.
Dude, be a founding member. You know, look, we went from like 1,000 subscribers on YouTube to like 1,500 so fast. It's amazing. Actually, it's really blown up. So
you could hit us up YouTube, where you can watch us anywhere you listen to podcasts. We are there, and of course, social media: Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, TikTok, LiveJournal, MySpace, Tumblr. No, I think I make that joke every week. But on that note, who wants to say?
Adios.
Aloha.
Oh, there we go. Aloha.